Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs, and it is Friday. So you're going to get your weekly Manhattan market update. John, we got stuff to talk about here. Look at supply, 49.43, almost at that five handle. Show me that chart.
Yeah, that's a noticeable uptick from the week before, Noah, and we are almost coming back up to 5,000 on the upside. And, it looks like, and we've talked about, it looked like supply had been sort of bottoming out. And I would say with this big tick, it looks like the bottom is in.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Johnny. I think you nailed that call. I think it was a few weeks ago. You were saying a bottom call on that supply. I think it was in the 4,700s. I think it was a fantastic call knowing the listing wave was coming. It looks like the listing wave is a little early. That's a good thing. Sellers are listening. Let's look what's going on with demand. Manhattan pending sales, 4181. Looks like that's ticking down, Johnny. Show me the chart.
It's ticking down. It's another 2% down. And it's not surprising here, Noah. We've seen sort of the demand level off, I suppose, as we went through the holidays. And it's not quite where it was at the end of the fall and certainly throughout summer and last year. But, around the corner is a new wave of activity. So, I don't think that the bottom for demand is in yet, but it's approaching.
Yeah, and I mean, take a look at the market pulse, right? That's what we look as a daily leverage indicator. It goes up, when the market's strengthening, it goes down when the market's weakening, and that was at 0.92 a few weeks ago. We were talking about how that's a sell signal. There's a liquidity sell call for any sellers or brokers that were willing to listen to get ahead of it, and that is turning out to be a great call. And now we got to ride it. Now we got to ride it. So now this is going down. You can see it right over here. Now we're going down over here. How far that goes down, we're going to look for a bottoming signal. When something is falling, it's going to start to look like this a little bit when it's changing, just like this period of time right over here. I guess I could do an arrow to show you right over there. Same thing over here. We do not have that yet. So this is in free fall. That will continue as the listing wave progresses, which will be peak in April, but the contracts probably get signed in bulk by, March and into April. So you're going to start to see this probably go down until about then. If I had to create a timing band here, I'm looking somewhere in March right now for that to show a signal of bottoming out. And that's when the buyers want to just pounce. So that's one thing to look at. Good stuff, John. Let's go to the weeklies and we can see what's going on here. I'm looking at supply, 424 things, big bump up. That's the listing wave. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, that's the listing wave. And that's the highest amount of weekly listings we have seen since I think mid-October, just looking at the chart here. And no, if I'm eyeballing this, trying to go back to previous Januaries, we're a little bit above where we are in January. So there's a listing wave that's kind of coming now. So, you're right. Why that market pulse is falling right now is because there is a lot of stuff coming on the market.
Yeah, and that's a lot. That's a lot, right? I mean, I guess I just want to say that last year, I think we peaked at like 2,300 a month. All right. So what is that? That's over 500 on a weekly basis. And you have to sustain that. So we're not quite at that level, but the fact that we're at 424 this early makes me wonder if we're going to have another big listing wave. I was just saying, I don't think we're going to have another big sustained listing wave like we had in 2020 and 2021. I just don't know if we're going to have that kind of inventory come on the market. Time will tell. Been wrong before, but that's a good sign right now. So let's see where it goes. Look at contract sign, Johnny, 256. That's also seeing a big bump up. Show me that chart.
It's certainly a big bump up compared to last week, which is, a holiday week. So you can't really do on the week over week comparisons. But if we're going to talk about sort of the year over year, like we just did for the new actives, and let's look at where we are sort of comparing January contract signs this last week, 256, that's higher than what we were seeing at this time last year. So even though, and again, this is kind of the sort of the motif that we had last year was, yes, there was a lot of supply coming on, but demand was even hotter and heavier. This year, it looks like supply is winning this race right now, but demand is really close.
Yeah, and I like to take a look at the monthlies every once in a while, and I still see that contract signs are not over the 1,000 level. But you're right, 973 for this time of year is still very, very strong. And right there, you can see what John was talking about with the supply at 1,340. So very interesting. We're going to see how long this plays out. Right now, the leverage is shifting away from sellers in real time as the listing wave comes, and it's shifting towards buyers as those options start to come online. It's very early in this game.
Yeah, and the other thing though is that we like to talk about what's that net effect for buyers. And again, if you're looking at there's 1,340 came on for supply during the month, but then you look at contract sign and off market, you're still at a deficit. So even though supply is running at that percent change is quite high. Still from a buyer's point of view, it looks thinner than it actually is.
All right, Johnny, let's shift now to the chart du jour. We're looking at the rental market, which is doing some mania type of things here in Manhattan. We got a good look at all the three components of the rental market that are interesting to us, John. We're looking at median price, which is, according to this chart, is at highs. And we're looking over the last 2 years. So we do have a limited supply of this because that's where we got the rental data. But we're at 3,800, which is going to be the highest number that we have here. And that is looking at last asking rents, right? Because we don't have the actual rental price and we don't have the concessions. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So we have prices at its high. And then when you look at the activity of new listings and signed leases, kind of low. Bottoming, looking like they're turning around, seasonal, that's all fine, but it is what it is. Anyone that's looking at the rental market right now, you're probably seeing a tight inventory, high rental asking market.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is what you would normally see in December, January, February. You see lower supply, and you also sometimes see the prices dip down simply because landlords want to move these properties during this time. There's not a lot of folks out looking, but right now we're seeing prices at record high. And usually what happens, Noah, is that discount you see sort of sets the stage for future price increases in rentals as the season progresses. And once you get into summer, sort of the prices in January seem like a deal. So if you're a renter now, you're sort of in this contango situation in which the prices now are probably a lot lower than they're going to be in 3 to 6 months. So, there's that urgency right there. And I think that might be fueling a lot of this, but it is a tight market for rentals, which is surprising for this time of year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna question, Johnny. I'm gonna question this for just a second. Definitely we rose up. If we look at January right here, and we look at the summer, we definitely see an increase, right? But that was the pandemic related increase, right? So if I go January over here, and I'm looking at April, there's a slight increase, okay? But then I look January over here, and then I look April, it's kind of flat. So I don't know. I'm wondering what's going to happen when these two lines over here start to do the things that you were talking about, which is this is going to go peak out. And what is this? This is like April, May. This is May, June. Same thing over here. So it looks like we're going to go peak out right around May, June, or something like that. So this is definitely going to go up. I wonder, are these prices going to go up? Are these prices going to ease back down? I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't honestly, I don't know either. But just gauging on what happens historically, I would suggest that all things being equal, we head into the summer, there's more demand, these prices are going to tick up. That being said, I mean, there's a number of things that could happen in terms of, life on the ground with COVID, with economic realities, with Fed raising rates, with the markets and jobs. And there's all the kinds of stuff that could sort of derail this, but it seems like this market is setting up for, assume sort of cruise control in current conditions, this market's setting up for another hike up in prices. I mean, it's already risen 30-something% from the lows. Yeah. So you got to think how much higher can it go? But I don't think prices are going to stop in January. That's my point. I think we're going to see higher prices.
This is going to be really interesting. And I was just playing a devil's advocate view. And to be fair, I am hearing anecdotally that the rental market is hot right now. I'm hearing anecdotally that there's not a lot of inventory. I'm hearing anecdotally that people are having trouble meeting their budgets, and they have to raise that. They have to raise their, what they're going to have to pay on a monthly basis to get what they need. So this is, I'm confirming all of that. And I'm just wondering how long this trend lasts for, because again, I think just like with supply, I question whether or not we're going to have as much supply as we came on last year. We had a lot of supply came on last year in the sales market. Yeah. And I wonder if we're going to have look at here, look at this.
And the rental market. Yeah.
Yeah. Like now that came straight down. You can see right here, right here. Now, where does that go from here? Where does that blue line go from here? Does this, and this is very interesting, does this trend kind of stay like that? Does this define a trend? And now this is going to go hit a wall right up here. I don't think so. I think this is going to break through this and get back up. But do we get more than last year? So this is what time's going to tell. And if we don't, or we get at or below that level, I think you're 100% right. I think the prices are going to be pressured on the upside, and there's nothing we can do about it. So
yeah, certainly it's going to be interesting.
Thank you very much, John. This is great stuff, great interpretations. The rental market is doing good stuff, and we're definitely going to follow up on this, and we'll let you guys know what's going on. That is John Walkup. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We are both from UrbanDigs. Don't forget, if you guys got questions, we got answers. We're right down over here. If you want any of the reports that we talked about today, it is going to be right on the right side over here. Other than that, this has been your weekly Manhattan Market Update. We'll catch you next time.